Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now in today's video, we're going to take a look at a couple of foldables and maybe help you out if you are looking to buy one. So right here today, I actually have the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 as well as the Honor Magic VS. And the reason why we have the Samsung Z Fold 4 here today is because Samsung has always been the benchmark in terms of foldables. They are one of the earliest ones to actually push out their folding phone, so we have this here just as a benchmark. However, on the other hand, we also have the Honor Magic VS because this model is one of the latest foldables to enter the market, and it actually came in at a very, much more affordable price point compared to the other foldables out in the market today. Now, just to give you a very quick disclaimer, this is not a very direct comparison between both devices, but in today's video, we're going to focus a little bit more on the fact that if you want to save a couple of bucks, maybe if you are thinking of getting the Honor Magic VS, what kind of features can you expect that might be better than the Z Fold 4? So with that said, let us begin today's video right away. Now straight off the bat, I want to start off by talking a bit about the pricing. The first thing here is all about pricing because they are really different. Now the Z Fold 4 is retailing in Malaysia for RM7299, and the equivalent storage option for the Honor Magic VS is retailing for just RM5999. So right away, you can see that there is a difference of 2,300 ringgit between these devices. So at such a huge price gap, let's take a deeper look at the kind of differences, and even though it's more affordable, what kind of advantages can you see on the Honor Magic VS compared to the Z Fold 4? Well, let's move on to the table to take a look and move on with our second point. Now secondly, that is all about display size. Now if you're looking to get and fit a larger device into your pocket, this is where you might want to consider the Magic VS. Now we just take a look at the Magic VS. When it's opened up, this is a 7.9-inch display, whereas on the Z Fold 4, this is a slightly smaller 7.6 inches. Now you can only see the difference when you put them side by side, and this is where you can see that you do have a little bit more of screen estate on the Magic VS that's on the left. Now other than that, if you flip the device close, you will also notice a difference here because on the Magic VS, you do get something that is a little bit wider and it feels more natural to hold and use at the same time. Now this is more similar to something of a standard smartphone. Of course, it is still slimmer than that, but take a look at all these icons and everything. If you try to text, you can actually still do so quite easily with one hand. Now moving on to the Z Fold 4, this is a very different story. It looks sort of like a remote. It is much slimmer here, much narrower, and say for example, you'll notice that in terms of the UI, everything is a bit more squeezed up. And let's just go into the Messages app, for instance. And again, just take a look at the keyboard side by side. It is very narrow to type on the Samsung device, whereas on Honor here, it's just a bit more comfortable. You get an idea if you actually try them out in person. Just hold them side by side and you will notice that it's just very awkward to hold the Samsung Z Fold 4. Now, other than that, just in terms of the display, since we're talking about the displays, you will notice that on the Honor Magic VS, we are actually getting a slightly higher resolution display. So not only is it larger on the inside as well as on the outside, but just in terms of resolution as well, you are getting a more higher resolution display on the Honor Magic VS. Alright, so other than that, you might have noticed that there's a little bit of flickering going on with the Samsung Z Fold 4, and again, this brings us back to the PWM dimming that is available on most Honor devices. You can see that there's barely any flicker going on here, and other than that, the Honor Magic VS also has this circadian night display that actually adjusts the screen temperature based on our body rhythm and prepare you for a better night's sleep. So overall, just in terms of display, you are getting not only a larger display, both inside and outside, higher resolution as well, but also less flicker. Alright, so let's move on to our third point here, and that is all about the gapless structure with these devices. Now I'm going to show you a very quick test here. So one thing I noticed about the Magic VS is, it has an almost completely gapless structure when closed. So everything is very symmetrical, whereas on the Z Fold 4, you will notice that it's sort of like folding in this way. So there's a huge gap here. In fact, you can actually see through it right away. I've got a very slim and thin SIM pin ejector over here, and just check this out, guys. This will not even go through any of the gaps on the Magic VS. However, if you use it with this Samsung Z Fold 4, you can literally put the pin right through the phone itself. That's just how big the gap is. And I think, this is actually very important in our day-to-day lives because you put your phones into your pockets all the time, and you will be able to capture a lot of dirt in this Z Fold 4. Just look at that gap, guys. It can go right through. And other than that, you guys already know like the displays on these foldables are actually very fragile, so you don't want to scratch the displays and all that. But with such a huge gap here and all the dust and dirt going through, it might actually scratch and damage your display. Now, just speaking a little bit about this display protection, it's worth mentioning that Honor Malaysia, I think they are the only foldable phone in Malaysia that is offering like a 180-day screen protection warranty. So what this means is if in the event you do crack, smash or whatever to your display in and out, they will actually replace or repair your display for you FOC, free of charge. And you can do that a maximum of twice, guys. So I'm not encouraging you to smash the display or anything like that, but rest assured like that 180 screen crack protection warranty is available with this Honor Magic VS. Alright, so we're going to go on to the fourth point now. What else is different between these guys here? And of course, that is in terms of the battery life. Now, in terms of battery life, we do get a larger battery on the Honor Magic VS. They're quite of the similar size here, like I said earlier on, but you do get 5000 mAh on this guy, whereas on the Samsung, it only comes with 4400 mAh. Now, naturally, with a larger displays on the inside, you will definitely benefit from a larger battery. However, I think the key point here is all about those charging speeds. Now, on the Honor Magic VS, it does support a 66-watt fast charge, and whereas on the Samsung here, it's a 25-watt fast charge. So in 30 minutes, the Honor will get to 85%, whereas Samsung here will get to 50%. So there's a huge gap there, and if you want to charge from 0 to 100, it will take 50 minutes for this guy and 80 minutes for the Samsung. And of course, you don't get a charger in the box of this guy, like we've mentioned and established a long time ago. So just in terms of charging speeds and battery, you'll be getting more out of the Honor Magic VS. Now, last but not least, on to the final point here, and that is in terms of their cameras. Now, the cameras for these devices are actually very different. For the Honor Magic VS, although we do have triple camera setups on both devices here, I noticed that the main sensor was a little bit more zoomed in for the Honor, whereas for the Samsung Z Fold 4, it is a little bit wider. Now, I think this is really down to personal preference, but I'm going to put up a couple of photos side by side for you guys to see. And naturally, in terms of daytime shots, you will notice that the Honor Magic VS takes pictures that are a little bit more natural. They look closer and truer to life, whereas on the Samsung, they're focused on social media, so pictures tend to pop a little bit more. It is more saturated as well on the Samsung Z Fold 4. So again, this is really down to your personal preference. Now, in terms of night photos, both cameras actually turn out pretty well. They are both able to showcase, a lot of detail with minimal noise. However, you will notice that the Honor Magic VS is able to handle challenging situations a little bit better. Last but not least, in terms of the ultra-wide shots, yes, we also get a higher resolution, 50 megapixel on the Magic VS, hence it captures a little bit more detail as well. Alright guys, so at the end of the day, you can clearly see that although the Honor Magic VS is significantly more affordable than the Samsung Z Fold 4, but it is definitely holding itself up really well against the benchmark setter. Ultimately, I do think that the Honor Magic VS is doing a great job at balancing a phone and a mini tablet in one single package. Now with that said, that's it for today's video. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching today's video all the way to the end, and I do look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Stay safe everybody. Bye!